Right then. Okay, so now we're heading into week end of week 5. Sorry, yeah, sorry, heading into week 5. What we need to start asking ourselves is the progress that we're seeing good enough? Okay, or is there anything that we need to do to kind of change anything? Now, obviously with this program, we're mainly looking at fat loss and weight loss. However, we can't just use that as one metric. Now, over 4 weeks, we should see some weight loss. Okay, so if you've been in a calorie deficit, again, like we see here, kind of if you're adhering to the plan, if you're beginning to kind of work on those kind of habits that we spoke about last week, we should be seeing some sort of weight loss progress. However, we can't just rely on that. We also need to look at things like how your clothes are fitting, energy levels. Are you performing better in the gym? Are you getting stronger? Do you feel like you're getting fitter? Also, just subjective measures like, are you feeling better? Is there anything like that? Even things like, say, menopause symptoms. Is there less of that, again, around your cycle? Sometimes you might not be getting, say, so many cravings. So there's lots of things that we do need to start kind of writing down, trying to monitor, just to see if we are kind of seeing any movement. However, if you're not seeing any movement, okay, if you're not seeing any change, then we really need to start asking ourselves, like, how can we adjust it? So what I want to do today is really explain how we adjust, okay, calories, if we are going to say cut them, but also as well, how we actually look to phase the diet extending beyond these 6 weeks. So how long do we need to stay in a deficit for, and what do we need to do moving forward? So, okay, so if we are going to adjust it for weight loss, the first things first, speak to me, okay? I'll say whether or not you should be cutting the calories and whether or not it's just a case that you need to be more consistent. Do we need to actually increase the calories? Because that might make your adherence better. However, if we know that it's not working, the likelihood is we might have to bring the calories down. Okay, so the way that we do that is we just take it down by about 5 or 10%. So again, if you're taking 2,000 calories, we'll take off about 200 or about 100. Then we'll run that, okay, see how you get on, and just kind of follow this process again. The other thing where it comes from is that we want to keep muscle mass, we want to do whatever we can, and this is why we try and keep the protein exactly the same. It might even be that we actually change the protein, we give you a little bit more protein and reduce carbohydrates and fat. The rest of the calories just come from carbs and fat, and this will come down to preference again. So cut your calories by 10%, run with that figure, keep the protein the same, and again, the carbohydrate and fat doesn't matter, but easy enough to just keep that 50-50 split, or 50-50 drops, 50-50 split from carbs and fat, which will just make things pretty straightforward. One thing that I've just noted here as well when it comes to fat is that we don't really want to go less than 0.6 grams per kilo of target body weight. So let's say if your target body weight is 70, so 70 times 1.6, you would go less than kind of 40 grams. So that just gives you an idea about kind of how low we can go. So main things there is, if you are unsure about what to do, make sure you speak to me, take 5 to 10% off and go from there. Now, I also want to just talk about moving forward, because obviously kind of 6 weeks is just a small portion of kind of a normal fat loss journey. And the way that I like to do it at Metabolic Birmingham and also at Box is that we like to do a phased approach. And the reason why we do this is we often see a drop in the RMR. So when there's less of you, you burn less calories. Again, MASH requires calories. And also as well, things like leptin and ghrelin, the hormones that control hunger, they will start moving in the wrong direction. So you will start getting more hungry. The body's almost telling yourself that you need to sort things out. Other hormonal changes you'll experience as well, like thyroid will naturally drop, okay? Testosterone as well can come down, estrogen can even come down as well, and that's just going to put you in a position where it's going to be harder to keep the weight off. And lastly as well, there is some kind of research now about, I think it's called the harvesting effect of energy, where again the body does its best not to let you lose weight, and this can be quite dependent on the person. So males find it easier, unfortunately, and most people that do this program are obviously female. So this is the reason why we do an 8 to 12 week the last point as well, I forgot to mention, is the psychological point, because being in a deficit for a long amount of time can be extremely challenging and taxing. So this is the reason why after this 8 to 12 or even 16 weeks max, we likely want to go into some sort of maintenance phase. And the way that we do that is that if you've got your RMR test, we can use that maintenance number, we bring the calories back up, your weight will naturally jump a little bit, and then you'll start plateauing. What this also enables you to do is train harder, okay, get fitter, potentially build some more muscle mass, have a psychological break from training, so from dieting, sleep a little bit better, recover a bit better, and it just really kind of sets you up for another dieting phase. I would not typically do this for about 4 weeks, and then you would go back into a dieting phase. You don't have to follow that 8 to 12 week cut and 1 week maintenance. There's other approaches, something called the Matador approach, where you do 2 weeks hard, 2 weeks easy. Another one is being fairly aggressive for 3 weeks, so we can take your calories down to say 1,200, and then have 1 week of maintenance. So that can be quite good for adherence as well. So there's definitely kind of a few ways for you to do that. But if you wanted to talk to me, if you had any questions about this, just let me know. And I'll happily talk you through it, kind of what you feel is the next best what you should be doing next, either after the 6 weeks or how long you should be dieting for. So let me know if you have any questions. Think about, do you need to adjust your plan? Think about what you need to do next, and I shall speak to you soon.